Hey guys, this is Eric Weingartner with Weingartner Racing. Today is Saturday, so it's an update video day. I haven't done one in a while. And anyway, so I thought I'd tell you what's all happening in the shop and what's not, and tell you some different things. The title of this one was a giveaway, and yes, this one requires no purchase whatsoever. So let me give you a little background. Earlier this week, I did a video over these heads. These are these 292 turbo heads. And I was talking in that video, and I'd said that when I was 16, I was working on my Camaro out in the street, and a guy down the block came by, and he's like, hey, see that you're working on cars and stuff. I've got this hot rod small block Chevy book that I showed in the video about the 292s. He said, why don't you go ahead and have it? It helped me, and I should just donate it to you. And I had that book, and then I end up donating it to other people. Well, anyway, to today. So I was thinking about, I've got a bunch of books, clearly, and I've actually got more. I've got to find the rest. But I had used these when I was, developing my skills and trying to get better at what I was doing. But that time has now progressed enough where I really don't need these. So the giveaway, and it's quite simple, is I'm going to donate these books to 3 people because there's enough where I can separate in 3. You don't have to buy anything. All I'm going to ask you to do is just email me, weingartnerracing@gmail.com, and pick a number between 1 and 100. And the 3 people that get closest to the number that I pick, I'm going to just go ahead and give you 3, or give you the books. So I'll divide them into 3s, and you get what you get. If I only have like 3 people email me, then that's gonna be pretty simple. All 3 of you will actually get it. So just weingartnerracing@gmail.com. Give you a number between 1 and 100. The 3 that are closest to my number, you're gonna get a third of these books. So anyway, there's a little bit of bonus with this too. So just use it, and if it helps you, great. So this is just more knowledge. Matter of fact, of all the things I could probably give away, and I do have a giveaway for the intake manifold to be ported, but that's as soon as all the my son's shirts that says seriously wrong, the car ones sell. Eventually, once those are all sold, I'll take those names of people that bought the shirts, and they'll get a ported intake. But this is probably the most valuable thing I could give as a giveaway, because besides a shirt or anything else, knowledge is by far the most important. So anyway, a little bit special one on this one. This one I actually found. This is from David Visor, and you might think, man, you must hate that guy because you did that video. No, I just didn't agree with some of the stuff he said, but as a person, I don't mind him one bit. I mean, maybe he might have a little bit of a, maybe he has an ego, but I mean, who doesn't really? And I'm not knocking him for that, just everybody does. But so I picked up this book, and I was thinking about him. I was like, man, that poor guy. Because I know he was getting beat up from the videos, and even his own subscribers were commenting. I mean, I'm getting him too, but obviously it doesn't make it a big deal. So I actually called him today just to check in to see how he's doing. Not because I want to confront him or cause a fight. I was really just checking to see how he's doing. I mean, he's an 81-year-old man. I kind of felt bad for him in a way, but just kind of checking in. And he said he was doing fine and whatnot, but I said, I've got some books I'm just going to go ahead and give away. And I mentioned I got one of these, and I just happened to be flipping of it, and I just thought of you, and I rang you up. He said, you tell that person, whoever gets it, he would sign this book, his book for you, and do that. So if you happen to be the one that actually randomly gets this book, and I've actually got another one in here from him, I'll send it to him. He can sign it, and then I'll give him a label to send it to whoever gets this book. So that's kind of neat. So no cost for this, by the way. I'll pay for shipping and whatnot ever too. So this is a totally free giveaway. There's no I'm hoping I get enough money to buy a new dyno mule, which I would love to, and we'll talk about in this video. But no, this is no cost. So anyway, that's one book. It's not a bad book, by the way. There's a few things I don't agree with, especially the 30-degree season here. But it gives you some knowledge. It's not horrible. And then here's another book by David Visor itself, right there. Same thing with that one. But this is not a bad book. A bit dated, definitely dated. This one wasn't bad for cams and valve train. This is small block Chevy. You can tell that's kind of where I cut my teeth. This is also a small block Chevy book. It's not bad either. This one was written by Graham Hansen. This is actually my favorite book. It's How to Build Circle Track Race Engines. Of all the books, so yeah, these are for cylinder head stuff. This one's probably my favorite because it gives you the most helpful actual tips on the actual building engines. And even if you're an LS guy, Ford guy, the tips that are actually in here are invaluable. Like this one right here, when he talks about the way he sets the oil pan rails and cuts them so that they don't leak. because it doesn't make any more power, but oil leaks suck. That's invaluable. So, I mean, Keith Thornton's in here. It's also got dyno stuff in here. It's pretty neat. I really do, and that's a really good book. And then I've got, I'm gonna go for it's another one by Graham Hansen, How to Big Cubic and Small Block Chevys. This is a Holley carburetor book, and it didn't really help me all that much, but it might help someone else. This is an old big block book. I don't remember who read this one. Ed Staffel. That's not a bad one. And then this one's a nitrous oxide. I don't even know how valid this is. I read it, but I bought 2 nitrous kits and never used them. But anyway, I got the book. This one actually is 1,001 tips. It's not just for Fords. It's for or Chevys. It's for other stuff too. This is pretty good. And then the good one. This is, I'm sure you've seen this, is Smokey Gear and X Power Secrets. If you look at the heads that are right here, it's the camera right there. See that hump there? That's that one. Yeah. Those are the heads. The 292 heads when I did the video. That's why I said it was so legendary. Anyway, that's a good book. And then one more Holley carburetor book. But speaking of books, guess what out? These are available, and I haven't even talked about them yet. So we'll start with this one. I had a pre-order on my website or my online store, and I will put a link in the description to my online store. These are now available to purchase. This is from the 540 dyno session and the 496 dyno session. So the two, if you're into big blocks and you want to know more about it, all the TrickFlow 280 tests are in here. And there's still some videos I have not done over the tests that were done with this TrickFlow head on the 280s. It also has the 540 dyno session number 2 where I switched the oil pan and I also tested some different intakes. This is available. So 3 people actually, I think 4 actually people pre-ordered. They'll be shipping out on Monday. I only ship stuff on Mondays and Fridays. So this will be going out on, it's available right now on my website. I think there's only a few left, like 6, because I didn't print very many because there wasn't very many pre-orders. Then there's this one. I've only covered one of the whole tests that are done for this. This is the small block Chevy dyno session. This is the most recent one that was done like 2 weeks ago. I went ahead and had it printed. The only thing that's been covered so far that I've talked about has been the dimpled carb spacers. That test's in here. What else is in here? Well, I tested a bunch of stuff. Let's see what this one is. That's the Dominator adapter versus the 4-hole. There's just a bunch. I want to say I tested different carburetors. That was one of them. 750, some different heads, different intake manifolds were tested in this one. This is also available. There are 9 that are available. I only printed 10, and I can always keep one for records. But yeah, these are available. Or if you're like, I want both, because these are $50 each plus shipping, which is 10. But you're like, I want both. Is there a way to get them cheaper? Well, actually, you can get every single book I made is in the PDF bundle, which runs $150, and they'll just get emailed to you. Or it's much easier, you just sign up to be a channel member. Speaking of which, if you're a channel member and you want to get these dyno results, a PDF copy of these, email me and you just let me know, and I'll just email you a PDF of this book. It won't cost you a dime if you're a member. If you aren't a member, it's $150. It goes from November to November. So anyway, speaking of which, if you're under the age of 30 and you want to be a channel member, all you have to do is go to my online store, link in the description again. You buy a sticker, and then you're going to email me and say, hey, I'm under the age of 30. I'm going to ask for some proof. And if you are, you instantly become a channel member for a whopping $6. And then you would get this dyno session PDF emailed to you for free. No discounts for people over the age 30, sorry. Anyway, there's that. Let's talk about some other cool stuff that's happening in the shop. For the first time, at least as long as I can remember, I'm finally going to have a set of my CNC Dragon Slayers in stock on the shelf. This one is done. I'm only waiting for the exhaust valves to come in. This is the standard port heads. And the reason why I mention this is because several people call me up and say, hey, I want one of your ported set of heads. And I'm like, yeah, no problem. I'd love to do it. How long is it going to take? And I tell them and they're out. That's too long. Wait for them. They can't wait. So the biggest thing I've been trying to do is get some of my CNC heads, keep them in stock at all times. So if someone calls, I can just sell you a set right away. Because in all fairness, I am definitely turning away more work than I'm getting in because of the time. So this should help with that. And this set is available. So if you would like to purchase them, email me. But this one's special. It's an easy set. This is 253cc intake runner. It's got a 2125 intake valve, 1575 exhaust valve. They do not require shaft rockers. You can run regular stud mounts. These are my smaller version. They're full CNC ported. Of course, The CNC misses some parts because of the casting, and I have to do some cartridge rolls, but you can hardly see it. And 11/32 valves. All your standard valve train components work. So stud mount rockers, all that. When I sell these heads, I do not sell them with rocker studs and guide plates. You're on your own to get those, but it takes regular stuff. You can run shaft rockers if you want on these, but if you're probably one of the better heads you can get. So yes, this is better than an AFR 220. If you want a standard valve spacing head that's big for a bigger inch engine, but you don't want to buy shaft rockers, this is it. Right now, they're 67 cc chambers. They're just good. So anyway, they are available. I'm gonna try to keep them in stock at all times for the people that just want your stud mount rockers, big valves, big flow. They flow about 330 CFM, and they're great. They're really good down low. So anyway, some people have dyno tested with them. They make pretty good power, but I don't want to quote that because each combination is so different. So anyway, there's that. Finally, I'm happy to have those in stock. I've got one pair. I've got others ordered, so I'll have more than one, but you get the idea. Now, what else has been happening? This has been. It's on E85 now. So yeah, the S10 has its supercharger back on it, and it is also now switched over to E85. Now this is the small Torque Storm supercharger. I have the bigger one as well. I'm gonna tell you about what's gonna happen. I'm fixing to be gone for somewhat of a vacation, but when I get back, when time permits, I'm gonna take the truck to McAllister and put on chassis dyno, and we're gonna dyno test on E85 with the small Torque Storm, then we're gonna put the bigger one on it and see what it does. The bad news is, when I was looking at my fuel curve, because I was actually, it was really easy to convert it over in the Sniper EFI. It was really easy to convert it over to E85, but I just wanted to see how close my fuel table was. Idle was really close. It was only correcting like 1 or 2%, which was great. I went and took it for a little drive, and I only had pump E85 in. I'm gonna put race E85 when I take it to the chassis dyno, but at the top end, I only took it to like 5,500. It only corrected 8%, which, yeah, I like it like 6 or less, but it wasn't that far off. For the most of the bit, it was like correcting 3%. So it was really, really close. Kind of shocking. However, looking at the fuel graphs, it looks like I'm going to run out an injector about 15 pounds of boost. So I don't know how crazy we can even get with the thing. Because the one I have on the truck is a Super Sniper with the 12 or 8 injectors. I'm on the 85. I'm just going to run out of injector. There's just no way around it. So at 15 pounds, it's probably where it's going to land. I'm not trying to wing its guts out anyway because it's got a lot of blow by, and I'm not even joking. I'll probably record that when I'm making some pulls. It's drivable. It just isn't ideal. I think if I could just save up some more money, I'm going to try to get some new pistons. And when the winter comes, take that engine out, have Dunsworth rebuild it with some new pistons, rings, and whatnot, so it seals up better. But anyway, then there's this. This is my son's car. Finally making some progress on this. It has the, this is something I should have brought up too. Several of you are like, man, I wish you would do, how can we help out with the Dyno Mule? I feel so bad it's broken, and I would love to see you test more stuff. Well, there's no GoFundMe. It's my online store, which link is in the description. You can actually go on the online store, and there's one of the products you buy has donations for the dyno testing. It costs $20. So if you would like to do that, go ahead. But one of the things I really have thought more about since doing the video on those heads is I really want 2 small block Chevy dyno mules. And right now I can't even afford to put the one back together. But what I'm thinking about doing is, hopefully if money gets better, what I'd like to do is take the 406 that I currently have, that the block's kind of messed up on, get a 350 block and machine it and make that into a 383 using the crank and rods from that, make a flat top 383 and use a hydraulic roller on that type of engine, and then I could test like these 492 heads or other double hump heads, just more streetable stuff, I guess, because even the 406 dyno mule, it's amazing, but it's not, it's more of a bracket engine. That was the whole idea for it. It wasn't meant to be, let's test low RPM stuff, although I end up testing a whole bunch of dual planes and stuff on it. I think having a 383, more street, hydraulic roller stuff would be great. And then on the other side, I don't want to give up on that, the bigger inch like bracket race deal, what I'd really like to do is invest some money and get a 421 short block assembly, and then maybe test for a set of my heads. The perfect Dyno Mule is actually this engine for doing the small RPM stuff, because this one's a 350 block, 2-bolt main, ARP main bolts, and this has got the Eagle rotating assembly, cast steel, forged rods, hypertetic pistons, and this is a hydraulic roller. This is one of the perfect ones to test out those ideas. So really I need an engine like this to test things. Lower RPM, more streetable stuff. That'll probably get more views than the 406 was ever getting anyway, but reason for the 406 is this test stuff I and many other racers would like to see. So instead I think I'm gonna step up to maybe a 421, but I ain't got the money to put the 400 back together. So the idea of doing two of them seems kind of outlandish at this point. Right now, the LS Dyno Mule, I think he's really, really close. He was only looking for like 1 or 2 pieces and it's ready. So when I get back from the vacation, we'll probably end up engine dynoing the LS Dyno Mule. And I'm only gonna do 2 heads first, and then I'll do the other heads in a different dyno session. So I'll do the 823s and the AFR Enforcers, probably change a cam during that as well. So we'll do this Texas Speed camshaft that's in there, and then we'll switch to the Truck Norse camshaft. And then that session probably will come to an end. And then I'll come back and then dyno test the 2 probably Pro Max heads, or actually a Pro Max head and then the Brodix head, then another Pro Max head, also doing different cams as well. So anyway, that's whenever I get back from vacation, we'll talk about. But his car, I mean, you can tell it's making some progress. Alternator's on it, so that's good. And that, I've actually bought some of the wiring stuff, but I don't even have time to mess with it. Which brings up another point. If you're someone in the Tulsa area and you're kind of looking for like a part-time job, I might be able to take someone on. Right now, things are kind of tight in the shop as far as money, but I can't really grind when I'm trying to do valve jobs, assemble heads, mill heads, and everything else. So it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to get some part-time work. Anyway, there's that. And then let's talk about my vacation. So this will end, all the technical part is over. So because I want to talk about the vacation coming up, and yes, involves my son and swimming. So take the parts over. Let's get to my son's awesome part of the video. Okay, so as you guys may or may not know, my son is a swimmer, and I am super proud of him and the way what he's accomplished. But swimming really never really gets over. You have like a break before you have the difference between long course and short course swim season. For those that aren't involved in swimming and you want to know what that means, if you're watching the Olympics, that pool is what they call long course. It's 50 meters long. Most of the other events that you do throughout the year are called short course, and they're 25 meters or 25 yards long, so they're half the distance. And short course are usually faster because you can push off the wall. You might say, why do they have one and not the other? It's more to do with the cost of a pool. So a 50 meter long pool would cost an extremely large amount of money to maintain. So most communities have either a 25 meter or 25 yard pool, and that's where they held competitions. Get the idea? Anyway, currently he's in the long course season, so it's like the Olympic length. He did a meet a couple weeks ago at Bartlesville, and it was an outside one, and thank God it was cloudy, otherwise we'd have been dying, like parents watching, because it's hot and your sun's beaming down on you. Meanwhile, Bishop's like, the water's cold, and it was cold. He did not have a good swim. I won't even tell the times. He did not improve at any time except for one, and that's at breaststroke. The coach, which is Coach Lynn for Swim Tulsa, she's amazing. She warned us he's going to slow down. This is more of a training meet. So the idea is they keep working him really, really hard throughout the season so that when it comes to competition, which is Swim State, which is at the end of July, he kind of tapers down and you're at your fastest point there, we hope. The thing is he's been training so hard, he's really getting yoked up. And I'm not joking. So just to give you an idea, he was weighing in about 183, 185. And when he finished short course season, I just weighed him, or we weighed the other day, is 191. And you're like, well, he got fatter. Nope, no. That's muscle. Got a six-pack. He's just yoked up. The problem with that is when you're all, I mean, it looks fantastic. Because the funny thing is we're in Bartlesville for the swim meet, and we watched the UFC 302. And the fighters are coming out, and I forget what weight division they are, but they're like 6'1", 185. Bishop looked in better shape than them, and there was the same weight and height. And yeah, it was crazy. So the problem, though, is when you get all yoked up like that, there's two problems. One, the more mass you have, the more drag you have in water. So your muscles have to be stronger per pound, which is tough. Which then brings up the other point. Besides, the bigger you are, the more oxygen your body needs. So that slows you down. Now, he's more of a mid-distance swimmer, so the 200 and 500s is more of his thing for freestyle. So the bigger you get, the more drag you have, the more oxygen you consume, the more worn out you get. Now, you might say, well, it must make him faster for sprints. Yes, but he's not really ideal for sprints. The coach is working with him to get him where he needs to be. So right now at this point, if you're wondering, what's your thoughts on this whole thing? I just want him to be the best he could be. Whatever that is, it is. And if his best isn't very fast, then that is. Doesn't bother me. He is so driven in this. I've never had to yell at him, hey, you need to get to practice. I'm tired of paying this bill. You're not going. Nope. You couldn't talk him out of not going to practice. And I'm being serious. I can't say, hey, let's go to the amusement park or do something cool. Miss practice. Nope, he will not miss practice. Just not in his DNA. He wants to practice because he wants to go fast. And that's really rare for a lot of teenagers in general because they don't see that. There's so much other fun stuff they could be doing besides staring at the bottom of a pool, struggling and suffering and hurting because your muscles are sore and everything else. He does it. So his drive, I haven't seen. It's pretty rare. I do wish that more of his drive would show faster in his swim times just to give him some more encouragement. Not that he needs it. He would do it regardless. If he's slow, it'll be there the next day. He's going to train harder. If he's fast, it's going to be the next day. He's going to train harder. It doesn't matter. I just wish he could, drop some more times, which I know he will. So it's just one of those things. I know it will. But anyway, at this point, because he's getting ready to enter his senior year, we're thinking about getting as fast as he can be so he can get the best opportunity to swim in whatever college he wants to keep pursuing swimming. And that brings up to the vacation. We are actually leaving next week because we're going to Indianapolis. And we're going to Indianapolis, and you might say, why? Because, and this is cool, the Olympic trials for swimming is in an Indianapolis stadium at the Indianapolis, the Lucas Stadium in Indianapolis. Where we have PRI, that stadium. They have a pool in there, and they're doing Olympic trials. So we're actually going. I bought tickets and everything. We're going to watch these people do it. It'd be really cool to see him actually in the Olympic trials competing, but maybe next time. That's his actually goal. I actually asked him, what's your goal? And he goes, I want to be in the Olympic trials. Which, those boys are fast. So maybe he will, maybe he won't. But I know he'll try his hardest one way or another to get there. So, but anyway, we'll be gone to that. And immediately after, so we're staying for 3 days to watch it, which is, one, is expensive, but it'd be really cool for him to see it. The other thing, right after that, on the way home, we stop off at some place in Missouri. I think it's Camden or something. It's near St. Louis for an outdoor swim meet that he's got to participate in for a Swim Tulsa club. This costs us a fortune. You think race cars are expensive. Swimming is expensive. Anyway, we'll see. Hopefully he drops some times there. He's definitely been training harder. I mean, I can't even describe how I'm. Usually you would think it'd be the other way around where the son looks up to the dad and he gets motivation looking at his dad. I'm going to try hard to be like a dad. I actually look at my son and I'm like, man, I wish I could try that hard. Because we can go out to eat and it'd be like some great dessert. Won't touch it. Everybody else at the table could be eating desserts. Won't touch it because it's going to mess up his training. Unbelievable. So anyway, yeah, that's what's been going on. I know this is a longer video, but it's a long update. If you're a religious person, keep him in your prayers and pray that he gets faster. Because you know what? When I go to bed at night, I don't talk too much about religion because I don't want people to think the wrong idea. Because I'm not a perfect Christian and I don't pretend to be. But when I go to bed, I pray every night. And I pray for everybody but myself. And one of the things I pray every night for him is that he will do good in life, but he'll also get faster swimming. God has answered a lot of my prayers, I guess. Anyway, so if you're a religious person, just say a little prayer and get him over faster. So if you're not, just keep him in your thoughts, whatever. So he is a good kid. He may not be in the race cars and stuff, but he's in the swimming. I had that passion, I guess, when I was his age, but it was for cars. And I love my father, and he's since passed, obviously. And I love my mom, but neither one of those encouraged that pursuit with me. I had a find that on my own and wait till I was out of college and many years later after doing teaching for 16 years to be able to do it on my own that I'm doing now. So I guess every teenager probably has a passion, and I encourage parents to encourage them to do that. So there's your Father's Day tomorrow, think about it. But we have definitely encouraged him to do that. I know his thing's not racing cars, but it is swimming. So anyway, longer video. Pick a number between 1 and 100. Email me, whygunnerracing@gmail.com. Remember, I am no Superman. And I do not pour cast iron heads. You guys take care.